Night shift at Elysium. The rain had been falling for 4 straight hours. Not a heavy downpour, but a thick, nagging drizzle that seeped into everything. The worn-out windshield wipers of Alex Rivera's old Ford Ranger squeaked tiredly, smearing water across the glass. The headlights carved narrow tunnels through the darkness, illuminating only the wet trunks of pine trees standing like walls on both sides of the narrow forest road. The GPS had lost signal long ago, and his phone showed only one flickering bar. Alex drove almost on autopilot. The same thoughts kept circling in his head. His mother, her thin hands resting on the hospital bed in Seattle, her eyes that barely recognized her own son anymore. The third stroke. The doctors had said she needed round-the-clock care, a special bed, medications that regular insurance wouldn't cover. Without money, she would simply fade away in a couple of months. He had 8 years of experience as a nurse in city psych wards, places where patients screamed, banged their heads against the walls, and left filth everywhere. His salary barely covered rent and food. When the private message arrived through a closed channel, night shift at Elysium Private Psychiatric Clinic, $5,000 per month, separate cottage on grounds, full board. He replied the same evening. Now, staring at the endless forest, Alex felt a slight unease. The conditions were too good. The location was too remote, but he had no choice. The road suddenly ended. Right in the middle of the trees rose tall wrought iron gates, black, massive, with delicate golden trim. Beyond them stood a modern 3-story building bathed in soft, warm light. Glass walls, cedar panels, neat paths of white gravel. No bars on the windows, no warning signs, only a small bronze plaque at the entrance. Elysium Private Psychiatric Clinic, for those who can afford the truth. The gates opened silently, as if they had been waiting for him. Alex parked near the main entrance. When he stepped out, the rain here was almost imperceptible. Just a faint dampness in the air. His footsteps on the gravel sounded uncomfortably loud, as though someone was walking right behind him. The lobby doors parted without a sound. Inside it was warm and quiet. The air smelled of expensive woody cologne and something barely noticeable, metallic, like the taste of an old coin on the tongue. "Mr. Rivera," a soft voice said. "We've been expecting you." Behind the reception desk stood a tall man in his mid-50s, flawless white coat, smooth skin, pale gray eyes that seemed almost transparent. "Director Harlan, welcome to Elysium. The drive must have been long, especially in this weather. Please, come into my office. We always have a short conversation before the first shift." The office was spacious and luxurious. Dark wood paneling, leather armchairs, the soft glow of a green banker's lamp. On the wall hung a single painting, a dense black forest, and a tall figure in a dark suit. The figure had no face. Thin black lines extended from its back, like smoke or long fingers. Harlan gestured for him to sit and remained silent for a long time, simply studying Alex. "Tell me, Alex, have you ever felt like something was watching you? Not ordinary people, something else, especially at night or in the woods, tall, standing at the edge of your vision, just watching?" Alex shrugged. "It happens, fatigue, nerves. You see all kinds of things in our line of work. And at night, have you never woken up with the feeling that someone was in the room with you? Something low, pale, sitting at the foot of your bed, waiting for you to open your eyes. Alex involuntarily shivered. As a child, after reading scary stories online, he had indeed had dreams like that. Harlan continued, even quieter, almost whispering. Or a voice, soft, when you're alone, whispering something like, "Time to sleep," and you know that if you turn your head, you'll see a smile, far too wide for a human face. The director fell silent. The quiet in the office grew heavy. "Our patients here are special," he said at last. "They have seen things most people never notice. We help them stay on this side. Please sign." The contract was thick. Alex skimmed it. Clause 14 was highlighted in red. The employee agrees not to discuss observed phenomena of Class Alpha and higher with outsiders. He signed. His hand trembled slightly. Nurse Emily was waiting for him in the corridor. Tall, short, dark hair, a deep, jagged scar running across her entire left cheek, as if 3 long claws had raked through the skin. "I'll show you the ward," she said in a flat, almost lifeless voice, "and explain the rules. They are important." She led him down a long corridor. The floors were heated, the walls adorned with expensive abstract paintings. But the farther they went, the more Alex felt that something behind the walls was slowly breathing. "Others worked here before you," Emily said quietly. "One guy, Mark, lasted 3 weeks. He kept saying he saw a tall man on the security cameras. Then he started drawing him on paper. On his last night, they found him in his room. He had no face, just a smooth white patch. He had torn the skin off himself, said it was necessary so they wouldn't see him." "And the others?" Alex asked. "There was a girl, Sarah, always smiling. On her 3rd night, she heard something scratching the floor under the patients' beds. In the morning, they found her in the basement. She was sitting there smiling ear to ear, knife in her hand. Said she was helping everyone sleep peacefully now." Emily stopped at the staff lounge. 3 knocks on every door, always. If you hear only 2 knocks in return, leave immediately. Never say your full name after midnight, and never stare at the security cameras for long. They stare back. In the lounge sat 2 identical twin orderlies with matching inverted crosses tattooed on their necks, and Dr. Lang, a woman whose gaze passed straight through people. "Fresh meat," one twin said in a thin, childlike voice. "Let's hope you're not too curious. Curious people don't last long here." The first rounds began at 11:40 p.m. at Room 7. Former top executive from Silicon Valley. A man in his mid-40s sat on the edge of the bed, hugging his knees. His smile was unnaturally wide, as if someone had stretched his mouth. He stayed silent for a long time before speaking. "You're new. They haven't told you the whole truth yet. We're not here because we went crazy. We're here because it chose us." Tall, stands between the trees. At first you see it on security footage, just a silhouette. Then it appears in the window of your house, just stands there watching. And later, you feel it counting your vertebrae when you turn off the light, 1, 2, 3. The man suddenly grabbed Alex's wrist. His fingers were ice cold. I sent my children far away, but I stayed because it had already started turning me into one of its own. Don't tell it your name. It collects names like trophies. Room 12. Former famous singer. She lay on her back, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. Her voice was hoarse, barely audible. It lived under my bed for almost 4 months, low, pale, with long, thin fingers. Every night, scratch, scratch, first on the floor, then on the mattress from below, and then it started speaking, in the voice of my little brother who drowned when I was 12. Sister, why didn't you jump in after me? Why did you just stand on the shore? That's why I'm here, so it won't get out, so it won't come for others. Her heart monitor showed a pulse of barely 34 beats per minute, yet she was smiling. Room 19. At 2:17 a.m., a message appeared on the tablet from the director. Room 19. Urgent. Do not turn on the lights under any circumstances. The room was dark and humid, like a tropical forest. A young man, son of a well-known investor, sat on the bed. His head was twisted almost 180 degrees. His neck made soft cracking sounds with every movement. I answered it, the young man whispered. The voice came from his mouth and from under the bed at the same time. I told it my full name. Now they all know. And the one with the smile. He comes closer to morning, stands in the corner and whispers, "Time to sleep." His knife is always wet. He says he's helping people fall asleep for real. At that moment, Alex heard footsteps. Right above his head, slow, wet, as if someone was walking barefoot across damp wood on the ceiling. He turned on his phone flashlight, pressed against the ceiling, back down, hung Emily. But instead of eyes, 2 black voids from which thick darkness slowly dripped. Thin black tendrils extended from her back. "You already watched," she whispered. "That room, the red one, even once, even for $100. It remembers everyone who paid." Alex bolted out of the room, heart pounding in his throat. By 3 in the morning, he was barely holding it together. In the staff lounge lay a note from Harlan. "You are now an anchor too. Keep the doors closed at all costs." At 3:33 a.m., the lights went out completely. The corridor slowly filled with a deep, pulsing red glow. It seeped from every monitor, from the ventilation grills, from under the doors of the rooms. On every screen, a live broadcast was playing. The Red Room. In the center, a woman suspended on rusty meat hooks. Her skin had been peeled off in long, neat strips. She was still alive and trying to scream, but the sound came through as if underwater. Around her moved silhouettes. A tall, faceless figure in a dark suit, its long tendrils reaching toward the camera. A low, pale creature on all fours, gnawing on something on the floor. And a man with a face carved by a knife, his smile sliced ear to ear. He slowly ran the blade across his own cheek, opening fresh wounds. The chat flew by at frantic speed. Plus 2,500, deeper into the shoulder. Plus 8,000, make them hear her voice. Plus 15,000 from Alex_R. Keep going, she's almost ready. The patients emerged into the corridor at the same time. Their eyes glowed red. Their mouths were cut into permanent smiles. Their necks were twisted at impossible angles. "You donated," they whispered in unison. "You watched, you paid. Now you're inside. Forever." Alex felt his feet leave the floor. He was slowly rising toward the ceiling, his body arched, his spine cracking. Before his eyes flashed an image, his own soul, a pale, transparent copy, already hanging on a free hook in that very red room. Next to it hung his mother. She looked at him with empty, pain-filled eyes. "You paid, son," she whispered from the screen. "Even $100. Now we're together. They will keep cutting us again and again, as long as the donations keep coming, and the donations never stop." Alex's face began to melt. His skin dripped down like hot wax, leaving a smooth white oval. He fell through the red screen, plunging into the room. The last thing he heard in the real world was Director Harlan's voice, sounding simultaneously from every speaker and from inside the room itself. "Welcome to the broadcast, new anchor. The viewers are already waiting for the continuation of your story." At 6 in the morning, the doors of Elysium opened as usual. A new nurse named Jordan entered the lobby. Director Harlan greeted him with a warm, perfect smile. "Mr. Jordan, we have a few questions before your shift begins. By the way, have you ever felt like something was watching you through the screen, especially late at night?" On the monitor behind the reception desk, the red chat quietly ticked. Donations were slowly but steadily growing.